Hey everybody! So I wanted to record a bonus screencast that'll help us get started with working with Android. Um, Android involves a whole different set of tools, or at least a whole bunch of new tools over your first four projects. And history has shown that it can take a little while for everybody to get up and running with their Android environment. As a matter of fact, a couple of years ago, I had a complete debacle during class because we had dedicated class time to get everybody up and running, and for a number of reasons, we ended up taking a long time to get everybody going. And so then what I've decided to do is to record a screencast where I show you how I install the Android development environment on my own machine. And what I'm going to do then is post this so that you can do this on your own. And if you run into any problems, then we can work on it asynchronously. Maybe catch up on class in class about it on Wednesday. That way, everybody can be on the same page. Everybody can be ready to go with a Project Five, and that nobody is left behind. Because not only is it a bunch of different tools, but some of these tools are kind of big, and history has shown that there are a couple of people whose maybe devices weren't powerful enough or weren't running the right version of software that fully supports this. And it's better to find this out here at the beginning of Project Five than to sort of discover 3 days before it's due. Oh, look, I'm running some unique customized Linux kernel imported from Europe that doesn't work with Android. So I want to make sure that everybody can figure things out quickly. So what we're going to do in this screencast is we're going to download and install all of the tools to get started with Android. Luckily, when it works in the happy path, it works pretty well. But so please follow the instructions and resist the urge to sort of like use the latest and greatest because haven't necessarily validated it. And this is important because unlike your previous projects, which have been graded on the PSU machines, which are relatively new versions of Linux, and it's just simple Java stuff. I'm going to be grading them on my own personal machine, which is maybe a little old or might not have exactly the same configuration as yours. So it's important to get everything going on the same path here. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's get started. So where you get started in downloading all the tools is you open up the Project 5 assignment, and we'll talk about all the details of Project 5 in class. Let's just scroll down to this link right here, which takes us off to the Android site for creating a new Android project. And this tells you everything that you need to know. Please read it over either after or while you are downloading Android Studio. So Android Studio is the development environment that I recommend for developing Android applications. I'm going to download it here for my Mac. Terms and conditions, always very important to read. I have read this over before, and yep, everything is cool. But please make sure to do the same before accepting anything. And while this is downloading, as you can see, it's almost a gigabyte in size. Android Studio is a customization of Intellij that is meant to work with Android. As a matter of fact, the JetBrains people got together with the Android people and said, "Hey, we want to have a world-class experience for developing applications." And so then JetBrains has made a lot of their IDE technology available to the Android community through Android Studio. And one of the reasons I like it so much is that it's very nicely integrated. There are tens of thousands, perhaps even hundreds of thousands of people that are using this tool. It works really well, and it's Intellij, right? It's what we've been using all term, or probably most of us have been using all term to develop our Java application. So all that stuff that you've learned in the first 5+ weeks of course, as far as navigating the development environment, will all be applicable here. So now I'm going to open up the installer, the disk image, and it'll do its thing. By the way, in this recording, there'll be several times that I will fast forward and play some nice music in the background because some of this stuff takes a while, especially on my older laptop. So we will install this version of Android Studio by dragging it to the applications folder here on the Mac. Of course, your experience may vary if you are on different platforms. What students have told me on Windows and Linux is just as easy. They've made it very approachable for all developers. Okay, and it's doing its thing. Maybe it's done its thing. Okay. So now I will, I guess I can, now I'll just open up Android Studio. Oops. There we go. So version 4.0, good. Okay, it says, do you trust it? Yeah, I trust it. I downloaded it just now. And there it is starting up in the background. Okay, so Android Studio walks you through the process for downloading and installing the various components. If you watch the Android lecture, you'll learn all about the Android SDK. There, I talk about how to install it and manage it from the command line, because that's sort of the lowest common denominator. That's not going to change very much from release to release. But here we'll use Android Studio because it's much easier. So the first thing you need to do is install an SDK. Now, let's see here. Do I have... Can I get older ones? Okay, well, interesting. I did this a little while ago. I had some problems with API 31. We'll see if those problems reappear. But let's try API 31. It tells you here's all the stuff that's going to download. Now, these are just the build tools. We'll talk about emulators later. It's got the primary emulator, but then we'll have devices built on top of that. So this is all tools 31. Okay, we will try that. And here we go. Lots of stuff to download here. Okay, now this says the Android SDK is up to date. Excellent. So now that's got the build tools for Android. Now Android Studio opens up. And here we go. This looks a lot like Intellij when you first open up Intellij, because it is. We will create a new project. So our project gives you this choice of styles of a project. It has a whole bunch of templates. Let's just start with the basic activity. That's where I like to start. And maybe not for this course, but you might want to explore other kinds of activities. An activity is basically, well, I mean, you can read about it in the lectures, or you can learn about it in the lectures. It's basically a screen in Android. So we'll choose that one. And the name of our application will be Appointment Book. And you'll want it in, well, actually, we'll just have it in your CS410J lock package name. We don't want it to, it puts it in this by default. I will instead put it in my, let's see here, in my checkout of my repository. So we want the source code for our Android application to be there in GitHub, just like anything else. We want to choose a Java project. Kotlin is an alternative language. And our API version, let's just choose the lowest. So API 29 is, in my experience, been a pretty good one to use. An excellent vintage, I suppose. Let's give it a try. So again, Appointment Book, your package name, put it in your GitHub repository. You want language Java and API 29. And so now it's creating a project, an Intellij project, which is actually rebranded as Android Studio, and it's doing its thing. So it has libraries. Something important to note about Android, it uses a tool called Gradle to build. Gradle is the successor to Maven. The Android people decided to choose Gradle. The nice thing about Gradle is that it's much more flexible than Maven when it comes to being able to use alternate tools and things like that. However, I've found that it's not quite the right fit for this course yet. That's a discussion for a whole separate time. So as you can see down here in the bottom, it's doing all sorts of things. The is very, very busy. Cool. Okay, here we go. Now it's scanning things. Now, uh, Android projects are Java projects, or at least this one is because we chose the Java language. And so then it's got files and it's got Android tests, which are the integration tests, if you will. And you can learn all about that in the lecture. And then it's also got unit tests. So it's gone through and it's configuring all of the project, just like when you run your Maven project the first time and it downloads half the internet, it seems. It's doing the same thing. It's getting all of the libraries. It's analyzing the JDK. Looks like it's all set. Now, what we're going to do next is we're going to execute our Android project. Now, you don't run an Android project on a command line. Instead, what you do is you run it inside a piece of software that emulates a device. In this case, we're going to emulate a phone. And the way you launch it is by clicking this Run button right here. And when you do it right now, it's going to say that there was no target device was found. It's because we haven't configured one. So we're going to go up here under Devices, and we're going to select AVD for Android Virtual Device Manager. It's going to run you through a little setup procedure. So we're going to create a virtual device. I recommend the Pixel 2, which is it's a phone, right? It emulates a phone, and you can choose what emulator you want. But for this class, let's just use the Pixel 2 one, and we'll just go next. Now we got to choose an API version for that phone for that emulator. We're going to choose Q, which is API 29. Again, we have a license agreement, so please read over it. Make sure that you're okay with everything that you're agreeing to. And now, once again, it'll download and install a bunch of software. And this is the software that emulates this particular device, this particular API level. Okay, there we go. Download and install that. You might have additional things that get installed. But anyway, hopefully all that's successful for you. We've done that, and so now we have downloaded the system image. We can select this API level 29 here, and we click Next. This will create the virtual device. We download the emulator for it. Here's the information in terms of the device and the version of the runtime. We want to start it up in portrait orientation. Don't mess with the advanced settings. Let's just finish it off. Cool. There it is. That's your virtual device. Now you have the choice of choosing it here under a run configuration. But now we're going to run our app. This will build the app. Damn. Install build tools revision 3 is corrupted. Remove and install again using the SDK manager. That's the problem I had before. Okay, so I'm working with Android Studio here, and I forget that my Intellij, because I've been using it so long, I have some older settings and stuff that I've just carried forward with me, like all the old key combinations and everything. And another thing that Android Studio uses is the new interface to Git and to version control. So here in the Git menu, Git tab down here, all we have is like information about the log and the branches and stuff. Not terribly interesting for us. Instead, what we want over here is the commit menu over here. Actually, is there a way I can? Oh yeah, switch to commit dialog. Does that then give me what I'm used to? It does. And does Git? Oh, now it looks like I'm familiar with. Yay! I'm old. I don't like change. So let's group by module. There's only a couple of them. Good. Here are all of the source files and stuff that I need to commit. Oh, there's all sorts of good stuff. We'll look at that in class. Let's add that all to VCS. Nice. And let's commit that. And we'll say added Android application for the appointment book. Push all those up. Those look like all the right things. Push it up there. And now we need to go through and we can't deploy this right now. We'll have to go through and change the version of the SDK to, what was that, 30 and 30.0.2, I believe, and then target SDK version of 30. Click sync now. And let's see here. Oh, let's look at the build. Where's the build? It says it was successful. Let's see if we can deploy it to the emulator. This is the build.gradle in the app, so let's just open this up in the file view. And this is how you get to that. Okay, it says launch succeeded. So now if I go back to my emulator, yep, there it is. Nice. Good, okay. Now I will commit this very important revision. Fix the version of the Android SDK to work around problems with version 31.0.0. Apply this change if and when. Well, if you see this error while building your Android app. Okay, well, that was kind of awful. So in order to get that to work, I had to go into the under Gradle scripts, build.gradle for the app, and change the SDK version from 31 to 30, and the build tools version from from 31.0.0 to 30.0.2. And then also the target SDK version, again, it's not 31, you have to have it as 30. But that seemed to build better, and now let's run it. Looks like it's making much better progress. So there's something busted about 31. I looked on Stack Overflow, and yep, from the last couple of weeks, people have been complaining about this. So bad timing for us in advanced programming with Java land. That sucks. So now it's sitting there as building it. And as you can imagine, in an Android application, there are lots of things to build. We talk about that in the lecture some in terms of some of the artifacts that that get built. But this is Gradle doing its thing. Okay, it was built, and now if we look at the sure, we will allow USB debugging on the device. Okay, it should be installing the or deploying the application to the phone. Don't quite see it yet. Let's try it again. Maybe that didn't work because there we go. Once more, and here we go. This is our Android program. And so, very simple. We'll look at the code in class, but you can go back and forth between what are called these fragments. You can click on this little thing and get an action. This is supposed to pop up a little mail. You can do stuff like that. Also, you've got a little menu here. Doesn't do anything, but it's just to get you started. But as you can see, what you've got here is an emulator that has all the stuff that you get on this Android device, including the 3 standard buttons for going back and going to the home screen, stopping applications, things like that. Let's see here. Where is the appointment book? Oh, there it is, top left. Probably just missed it the first time. There it is. And you can stop it, or you can go back to this view with that. Anyway, it's all neat. In addition, you have control over sort of, actually, I say the physical aspects of the device. You can change the volume, you can change the rotation, and this way you can test that your application behaves correctly when you rotate it. All the good stuff. You can activate the camera, take a screenshot. Okay, this wasn't. You can configure the camera and stuff like that here in all this. All of really great stuff. But anyway, this is how you uh, this is how you work with Android applications. But most importantly, this is how you get everything configured to do so. So this wacky change with a version of Gradle, this is bad news. I'll make sure to that's the version of Gradle, sorry. The version of the Android SDK. This is bad news and something that I will definitely highlight again in class. Kind of unfortunate discovery right here, but I'm glad we found a workaround because this is going to allow us to enjoy Android development for the next couple of weeks. So anyway, I'll see you in class this week. Thanks for walking through this. If you have any questions or concerns, please post about it in the Project 5 channel of Slack. It's especially important when getting things set up that if you have questions, you raise it there. That way, everybody can see your question and the responses that I and others reply with. So that way, everybody can if one person has an issue, it's likely that someone else will have it too, and we can all get around it together. Anyway, we'll see you then. Thanks for listening.